it's Cecilia Towns, the Sporty Esquire, and we are here together for another episode of Workin Women Wednesday, the series where I share my experiences and the things that I'm learning as an entrepreneur, an attorney, and a former athlete with the desire to help you succeed in your personal and professional life. So for the past week or so, my mind has been kind of on this one word, which is comparison. And if you follow me on Instagram, which you should be doing by now, if you're not, shame on you, go ahead and do it. Log into Instagram and follow Sporty Esquire. But if you already follow me, you might have seen that last week I just posted a quick meme and it said comparison is the thief of joy. And I've just been realizing how much especially young people, but us as a society in general, have begun to use social media to compare ourselves to other people. And what that does is it prevents us from, reveling in our own joys and our own successes. And it sets these standards that we're never going to meet. But then I took it a step further and I realized, this is way bigger than social media, because I realized that everybody that I know, and probably know somebody in their office who does the same thing. Like this idea of comparison happens at a professional level too, right? There are people at work who, every time you turn around, they're worried about what other people are doing. They're minding other people's business. They are wondering how so-and-so got a promotion and why so-and-so is making more money than me. And in the process of them comparing themselves to other people, they're not being successful themselves and they're making themselves miserable. They're missing opportunities to walk in their own light. And that's what you do if you start comparing yourself to other people. So we have to really get out of that habit of comparing ourselves. But there's a flip side to it, right? Because we don't live in a vacuum. So while you can't, always be looking over in somebody else's lane, you do have to acknowledge there's a bunch of people running in their own lanes, and oftentimes you're running towards the same goals. And so you do need to set yourself apart so that you come out on top, so that you are competitive with these people that are running similar races to yours. So that's what I want to talk to you about today. How to be competitive and to win and to stand out without being comparative, without comparing yourself to other people and, not allowing yourself to walk in your own light. So, of course, I don't like to keep you here more than 10 minutes. So I got 3 things that you should focus on pretty much on a regular basis that can help you be competitive but not comparative. And the first thing you want to do is focus on you. Focus on your own goals. What I've realized is that when you start looking at other people, you start to sort of develop and measure yourself by their standards. And those are standards that you're never going to be able to reach, because you'll never be that person, or you never be those persons that you're comparing yourself to. You don't have the same talents wrapped up in the same package. You don't have the same experiences. So you're spending time trying to measure yourself based on a standard that isn't meant for you to measure yourself on. Whereas if you are focused on you're focused on your own goals, then you have a reasonable barometer. You can look at your goals, and you can look at where you've come from, and you can understand that, hey, you are making strides to the goal that you actually want to set for yourself. Not that somebody else has set for you, not that you've looked at from somebody else and tried to set the standard from your own standards. You're making strides towards that. I can say that I do, that's how I live my life. And that's why I know it works. There are literally millions of other women who are attorneys. There are millions of bloggers. There are millions of entrepreneurs. There are millions of former athletes. And if I spent my time comparing what I'm doing in any of those arenas to what those people are doing, I would literally lose my mind. But what I do instead is I keep my eye on the mark, on my purpose. And I measure how I'm doing based on how close I am to that purpose, reaching that goal. And it makes it's really time consuming, right? So I don't have time to look at what other people are doing, but it's like this intrinsic motivation. If I keep on looking at myself, if I keep on looking at my own goals, there's really no need for me to slow down. There's really no need for me to get depressed about where I am in my life, because I understand that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. That kind of brings me to the second part. And once you're focused on yourself, one of the things that you have to remember is to take time to reflect on where you've come from. Now, this is something I'm not good at, and this is something that a lot of very ambitious, driven women have a problem doing, is taking time out to reflect. We have 1,000,001 goals that we have for ourselves, and it's very easy to just, once you check off one goal, to just go to the next and not even appreciate that you just did something big. And when you get in the habit of doing that, it's kind of like you're always running, you're always chasing something, and that wears you down because you don't feel like you're making a lot of headwind. It's very tiresome. But if you stop on a regular basis and you look at that list and you say, wow, I did X, Y, and Z, it makes for a richer experience. One, it gives you a sense of gratitude because you say, wow, over the past 6 months, I don't look like I did over the past 6 months or 6 months ago. I've accomplished things that, initially they seem small, but now when I look at them in the grand scheme of things, these are major things that I've done. So you become grateful for your experiences. But that that sense of gratitude also builds a sense of confidence, because when I kid you not, when you start looking back on the things that you've accomplished, you're like, oh, I am great. And I can do X, Y, Z, and put me in the room with all these other people who have all their things going on, and I will hold my own. But you can't do that. You can't develop that level of confidence if you don't check your own resume and revel in your own resume sometimes. So make time to do that. The other thing that it does is that it gives you a testimony, right? So we, all know people who are sort of coming up behind us and want to do similar things. We all know people who sort of need encouragement. If you are regularly, acknowledging where you came from, you can share those experiences and help encourage other people and help show other people the way. So that while you're building your own confidence and your own, sense of gratitude, you're also planting seeds for other people to come behind you, and that you're building your tribe, right? So you're building your confidence, but you're building a tribe of people, and that alone makes you more competitive. That makes you stand out. You have this confidence, you have these skills, and you have a group of people that are with you to support you. And that brings me to the third thing, which is to make sure that you're willing to celebrate other people and their accomplishments. So I truly, truly believe that if you surround yourself with joy, if you surround yourself by successful people, your life is going to beget joy and success. And that's going to, basically what I'm saying is that, surrounding yourself by successful people in turn makes you successful. It gives you this extrinsic, motivation. And you instantly are like, well, I want to keep up with everybody else around me. I want to be successful. I'm sewing into these people and I'm helping, celebrate these people's successes. I want somebody to do that for me. So it makes you grind a little harder, right? But then it also, again, goes back to increasing your network. So as you're celebrating with people and encouraging people and their successes, you're building your own network. So now you have these networks of people that you're helping to develop and people that are around you that are successful. And that alone, your network, often determines how competitive you are going to be, how successful you're going to be. So take the time to, sow those seeds of celebration in other people so that you can be motivated and you can build your own community. So that's it. That's the 3 easy steps of making sure that you're competitive, but you're not comparative. Focus on you. Take time to reflect on your own successes and celebrate other people. This has been Cecilia Towns, the Sporty Esquire. Make sure you're following me on social media. Make sure you're following Gladiators on social media, because I promise we have great content, mentorships, events, personal development, professional development. It's all there to help make you better. Thanks for joining me. Bye.